Good morning, good evening, and a very good afternoon to each and every one of you who's watching now. It's a short show. We're going to be reviewing, well, Ralph's going to be reviewing the game, Arsenal versus Leeds United. Then we're going to talk about some injuries, some impactful injuries, some updates. We might even tell you, if you want to know about the two matches that's happening at this point in time, Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest and Everton versus Brighton, and Fulham versus Man United is a later kickoff. And then we're going to be reviewing Liverpool versus Arsenal, the old enemy, the old enemy. Ralph, over to you, man.
I can just about make you out. You sound a bit. You're probably very clear, but I can just about make you out. Anyway, yeah, post-match reaction. We did a little video last night. I think it had something like 200 odd views for the little 25 minute cameo that we did. So that's nice. That's welcoming. Alex said he didn't want to watch the highlights because we didn't watch the match, and I said, "Well, I always watch match of the day because it gives me a nice little glow when we win, and when other teams lose." So, but from what I saw from the highlights, I know using another platform to try and get an idea of what they interpret on the match is always going to be a bit diluted. But from what I saw from the highlights last night, the injuries. Let's just take the goal, put the goals on one side. But the injuries to Odegaard and Saka was in open play. Odegaard had a bit of a tussle with one of the Leeds defenders, and he went down initially, and he was a bit slow getting back up, and then he signaled to the bench, went over, and Arteta was having a word with him, and it looked as if Arteta just didn't want him to come off. But he played on for quite a few more minutes, and then he signaled again, and he came off. He's holding shoulder. I'm not sure if it's a dislocation. If it's a dislocation, it would have been taken off straight away. But there was some discomfort to the way that he was moving. So hopefully, I would imagine that he may be available for Liverpool. As for Saka scored his goal, and again in attacking play, and he pulled up. And when a player pulls up, you know first and foremost, especially when it's a hamstring, you don't want to risk it. And he went down again. Bench came and helped him, and he walked off. And he was talking to Arteta, and Arteta was listening intently, and it seemed as if maybe he won't be available for the Liverpool match. So our friend Carl is probably rubbing his hands at this moment in time, because potentially maybe two players, more likely one player, won't be in that lineup for next week. As the match went on, of course, Timber had scored a brace. It was really good to see him get in there, as well as the other defensive players as well. And then, of course, our man of the moments and many moments, he scored a brace as well. One was from open play, and I saw it from different angles. I was online, and there's fans in the stands that saw the goal, and it's good to see the way that they see it. And he looked like he was just, he didn't want to, he's not taking no prisoners. God grace is taking no prisoners. So the first goal was a really good goal. The second goal was a penalty, but the way he buried it, it showed intent. And he looked at the camera after he did his signature move. He looked at the camera doing his hair and everything. But I was looking at his eyes more importantly, and he looks like a guy that's on the mission. So there we go. And then Max Dowman came on. He was one. I said to my brother in the car when we was listening to it that I wonder if he'll get a penalty, because he seems to have that kind of edge to him. 15 years of age. And he did pose the question, what we're doing was 15, and I wasn't going to give him an answer, but 15 years of age, Premiership player, came on, and you can see the defence are thinking, what is this? And he earned us a penalty. So we have to be careful. We have to look out for him, look after him. But this is a really raw and good talent to have, and it's looking good. It's looking good for Arsenal. 5-0 at the end. Everyone's happy except for the sour note of the two influential players, Odegaard and Saka. I reckon Odegaard will be in the 11. I don't think Saka will be.
Yeah.
I'd like to be pleasantly surprised, but when a player pulls up like that, especially as a hamstring, it's touch and go. But
There's
there we go. You can
also
see the slides for yourself.
there's also
Odegaard and
an additional
Saka. Um,
injury insofar as Kai Havertz. I think Arteta was questioned about the Kai Havertz injury. And he said, well, we don't have all the information just yet, so I prefer not to talk about Kai Havertz. When I've got more information about the extent of Kai Havertz's injury, then I'll give you an update. So, as Ralphie rightly says, Bukayo Saka probably won't be available for the Liverpool game. Odegaard's probably 50-50, but Kai Havertz definitely will not be available for the game next week, Sunday. Ralph, are you worried about the injuries? Again, the level of injuries again with these players.
well, you see, this is the thing. A showing of the the number 10.
Right, so Ralph has some problems there with his own Wi-Fi. He's probably need to refresh the signal there. But yes, I was somebody sent a message to me earlier this morning. This is again just highlighting the level of injuries that Arsenal seem to have. I mean, listen, all the clubs in the Premier League, they're not going to go untarnished or having the players or the squad with no injuries. That's just not the way it's going to be because the Premier League is so robust and the physicality will take its toll on each club or each player. But when it comes to Arsenal, it just seems to be a little bit more, prevalent, and it's like presented itself again. And the funny thing is, I was watching a podcast 2 nights ago, and it was saying, when it comes to the time, you can bet your bottom dollar that Bukayo Saka will be injured. So driving in back home, and Ralph said, "Oh, I've just heard that Bukayo Saka he's injured." I said, "Well, I didn't hear that." Wait, Bukayo Saka is injured, yet again. So we have to again look at the players because I read as well that Ben White was injured. I've just spoken about Kai Havertz, Christian Norgard also injured. What is going on? There's something really, really strange going on at Arsenal. But yeah, we've got a slightly bigger squad now. When you look about, I think it was probably Erdegaard who went out, and then Trossard came in. I think Trossard is a fairly good player. So we're talking about having good players coming off the bench, but over the course of I don't know how many seasons, you're looking at the first teamers, the players getting injured over and over and over again. I don't know. Come into the live chat. Let me know your thoughts about the injuries yet again that's happening at Arsenal, and we're gonna talk about the game coming up a week from today. Now, I was probably a little bit cheeky insofar as if you look in the corner, there's an exchange between Mikel Arteta and and Jurgen Klopp, and you can see the man in the foreground saying, "Yeah, okay, all right, yeah." So I'm probably a little bit naughty doing that, but just look at the numbers. So the last 10 games between the old enemy Liverpool, 3 draws, 3 losses, and 4 wins. The numbers, yeah. Anyway, listen, it's a new season that's just started. Um, I believe that once the game tomorrow against Newcastle and Liverpool is over, Liverpool will get their man. Who is their man? Alexander Isak. All this furor about, there was a gentleman agreement and, he said this and they said that. And the player has literally said, I am not going to play for Newcastle again. The trust, the confidence in both parties has gone. So the best thing for both parties is that, we part ways. He will not be playing tomorrow against Liverpool, but I think there will be some news. I've heard some rumblings that there might be one final bid, a sizable record British bid for the forward. But yes, yeah, what can you say? What can you say? I don't like to see it, but I remember saying more than 30 years ago that contracts do not mean anything. They don't mean anything. Well, they do to some extent. You've come together, you've got your lawyers, they've got their lawyers, and you're witnessing and you've signed the contract. But at the end of the day, players can still down tools and say, well, you know what, I want to go and play for another club. And Virgil van Dijk forced a move away from Southampton. People tend to forget that. But Virgil van Dijk also down tools to force a move away from Southampton to go and play for Liverpool. Imagine that. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. Ralph, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. I was asking a question about the injuries. It seems to be something of a regular occurrence when it comes to Arsenal.
I don't know what it is. It's like you said, it's a regular occurrence. I remember we're going years ago now, easy more than 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago, it was a bit scary. I remember Ian Wright when he used to be on Talk Sport, and he was with that other guy. I'm not going to mention his name. And he used to bring that up quite a lot in the chat about the players seem to be injured. Do they have to test the ground, or do they have to change some the method of training or something? Because it's a brand new season. We've had the friendlies. I was saying to Alex in the car yesterday as well that I don't see any point of these friendlies with Premiership teams that we're going to play against later in the season.
But then how do you summarize that? You said at the end it's all about the money, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's all about the money.
Yeah, it's about the money. It's about the commerciality of having a product like your Premiership team, and you want to you got fans far and wide around the globe. So I get that you want to be accessible for them, but play friendlies with no Premiership teams. I'm not sure. It's not going to be a viable idea. It's just my opinion, but I would rather that we have friendlies, or we just tour and try and get the team to be united for the oncoming season, than to play potentially one or two friendlies with the opposition. And then when you need your players, now look at us, we're about 4 players down, potentially 5 players down, one without even kicking the ball in anger for us yet. So it frustrates me because I don't understand. I'm not a sports psychologist or analyst. I'm just a fan, and if I paid my money, I want to see that my players. I want to see my team with the best players available, physically fit and ready to take on the opposition. And we all understand it's a long season. There's always going to be those kind of niggles, but with us, compared to everybody else, we seem to be getting it the most, and I don't understand why someone can't put a finger on it.
And the funny thing is, Ralph, I was thinking, as always, with every season comes, suspensions, other teams leapfrogging over us, or we leapfrog over them. But you forget about the injuries. The injuries, Ralph. Pack for at the beginning of the season. Could that be, season defining? That literally, as much as we've improved on the squad, the injuries will define Arsenal season more than any other season, Ralph.
Well, anybody will say, I'll say anybody, anyone of note would say, well, hang on a minute now, guys, just pull back a little bit. It's early doors. It's the second week of the season. These players, we don't know the extent of the injuries. We know about yesterday's injuries, but we don't know what the extent is. Who's going to be playing? They won't probably mention or give a team sheet analysis until later into the week. If it's troubling, then maybe they'll tell us a lot sooner. So let's just go with the premise that they're going to hold until maybe Thursday or Friday. Um, Ben White's injured. I heard you mention.
Yeah,
Lord
yeah, yeah,
is injured. Kai
yeah.
Havertz is injured. You know, um, and
uh,
we still got have to exit a few more players. I'm not sure if Reece Nelson is still at the club, if he's on the books, or he's going to go to Fulham, or we're going to sell him to Fulham. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Kivior apparently is Umanari. He may want to go. If he's going to go, then fine. If he doesn't want to stay at the club, then we have to get him off the books as well. That free up some more money for whoever we want to get. If Arteta is still kind of like confidence that we're going to be getting somebody else, does that mean that Rodrigo might come in? Does it mean that there's somebody else that we don't know, but Arteta and I forgot the name of the guy.
he's number two,
Yeah,
Steinberg, or the guy who's just come. Who's just come.
you signed. You
Berta.
signed. You
Is it Berta?
Berta.
Yeah,
Berta.
yeah.
Yeah. If he's got someone under his wing that they're going to unleash on us before the end of the deadline. So, but again, it is constant. It's a constant. It's not a one-off. It's not a once in a blue moon scenario. It's every week. Of course, during the match, when the season kicks off, as it has done, you're going to pick up those kind of injuries. But
Mm,
pre-season already, we was down two or three players. What, and it's now three within the space of 2 weeks.
mm.
That the metrics, don't look good on that part. I have to say. So, and we thought, we've improved on the squad, but then if we improve on the squad and then we start becoming deficient before week 5 or week 10, then what's going to happen to the rest of the season? It sets us up not in the positive manner.
It's a worry. Listen, let me go through these few comments before we wrap up this show. Colin, good morning to you, Colin. Good, yes, good morning to you. Ralph and Alex, I love these guys. Hit the like button, slackers. Thank you for that, Colin. Ever present. No, I looked to better on the right side than he was showing on the left. Eze was likely to take the starting 10 spots from Odegaard. Wish it wasn't because of injury.
Mm.
Massive factor there. Nikki Hong says for sure Arsenal would beat Liverpool at Anfield.
Be
Actually,
optimistic.
let me quickly put the stats up again. Noni was whom I was referring to there. All right, okay, understood. I see 2 likes with 14 watching, and 2 people have commented, "Let's go for the family. Get active."
Right, Colin. Love you, Colin.
I'm afraid to say it, but I don't think Saka should have played the end of last season. He was rushed back after his first major injury.
Mm.
That's down to the coaching staff, the medical staff, and of course the manager has to make the final decision. But he can only make the decision based on what the coaching staff and medical staff has told him.
Yeah,
How
and
many?
more often
Go
than
on.
not, the player probably feels that he wants to get back into it as well. But then, yeah, you have to be careful, um, because the player wants to play because that's what he wants to do. That there's a duty of care as well. You want to make sure that you introduce them slowly. And in the last few matches, we weren't playing for anything, so he could have just said, you know what, go on holiday early. The bare bones of the team is going to crack on, or once you're ready and fresh for the pre-season and then the season to come. But he didn't do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really looking forward to a live watch along Liverpool versus Arsenal by Ralph.
Oh, you know what? I was. It's a Sunday, isn't it? The match. I was, but I'm back to work. I'm off 2 weeks. I'm back to work, and I'm on the late. If the match was, what time's the kickoff? What time's the
Oh,
kickoff for Sunday?
good question. What
Them
time's the
time.
kickoff, Carl? Is it an evening kickoff? Actually, I can probably check here. Let me check here.
I don't think it's for Sunday. Probably at 5:30.
4:30. 4:30 kickoff.
4:30.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd say leave it with me. If there's a chance I can wangle something, I'll let you guys know by Wednesday.
There you go. You heard it hot
By
off the
Wednesday.
press right over here. So, like I said, these are the stats. Last 10, 3 draws, 3 losses, and 4 wins. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, man. It's going to be a tough
Is that
one.
when we go up to their ground?
Well, that's just when we play a home
Last
and
10.
away. It's just a mixture. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, Carl. What do you mean you think it's 4:30? It's 4:30, fella. And say hello to Julie from us. All right, quick spoiler alert. So there's 3 matches happening, going to happen today, 2 of which have already happened. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. It's currently 1-1.
Oh.
And Everton are leading Brighton. I'm surprised actually, 2-0. 2-0 to Everton.
Jeez.
Right. What's this one? This one. Fire Raz. Watch along. I'll be there with the verbal matches ready to Ralph. Yeah, I think the consensus is that they would like you to do the watch along.
I've gathered that.
I'm only thinking about Newcastle on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That. That's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. All right, people. So that is it. You know, a 20-minute show, and you will see me back on the channel in the next 2 weeks. I've got another week before I go back to my job, but I'm just gonna sit back and relax. Actually, 4:30, Fulham versus Man United. Come on, Fulham. Come on, Fulham. 2-1 to Fulham. Actually, I said 2-1 of Arsenal versus these, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. Ralph, thank you very much as usual, and we shall catch up. Yep.
Yes, we shall. We shall.
Nice one.
Okay, guys.
This has been Canon for the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.